Welcome to Torment, Tides of Numenera. That's not my normal voice. This is my normal voice. It's a little higher than my not normal voice. Welcome, hello there, Halloin for alle German Zuschauers. And let's begin, I'd say. No. I know that if the lighting is not to my liking, it's only my liking and no one else's, so I won't mention anything about it, apart from this little sentence. Hi there, cute without E. So, let's start. If you wonder why I'm streaming with only one in-ear headphone in my ears, it's because this way I can listen to myself at least a little bit, and I know if I can listen to my pronunciation a little bit better, so that's why. We are here, right before Erritis, our next companion. Ah, those are the... why are... Time played 2:15:09? Time played 10 hours? Oh. Just wait a moment. He in my group? I have no idea. Okay, I hope this should be the right save game. It's from April 4th, which is this year. So, no, this is the correct save game. Okay, let's load it. And before I forget, you have to see the game, so make myself smaller. How's your head, cute without E? I'm sorry if I was screaming a little too much. If you want, I can talk a little bit more smoothly, a little bit calmer, quieter. Today, what happened so far? We are a cast-off that fell from the sky into a so-called... Okay, that's good. Then I can let myself go. Into a resonance chamber. We need this resonance chamber so we can make ourselves whole again. Because we're, like I said, we are cast-off, and cast-offs are called cast-offs because they are cast-off shells or husks from the changing god, who found a way to make himself, we know it's a he, pretty much invincible, and he doesn't age because he can always make another body and put his own consciousness into this body. But when he leaves that body to put his consciousness into a newer one, new consciousness fills the old body, and we are one such body. These are called cast-offs, and we are one. We fell into a resonance chamber in Sargus Cliffs. This is the city where we are right now. We have two companions, Elegern and Tybir. Elegern wants us to visit the Aeon Priests and the Changing God cultists. There's a cult for our father, and he is an old Aeon Priest. He was an Aeon Priest and doesn't get along with them too well. Oh. Come on, let's get it, go, girl. Two cutie pies in my chat. And Elegern wants us to free his friend, Riz, who is being executed on the plaza of Circus Minor, which is a part of Sargus Cliffs. We have some secondary quests that are not that... This is, like I said, the Stay of Execution, the free Riz quest for this guy, Tybir. And the Cult of the Changing God, after we fixed their clock that got broken, we don't really know how, and we fixed it, and we were the only one that could fix it because we're a cast-off and only cast-offs can fix it. This was the first main quest in the game, and we did that, and... Now they gave us the hint, maybe Matkina, another cast-off, knows more about the resonance chamber, because we were asking the Cult of the Changing God, maybe they can fix the resonance chamber, but they can't, but maybe Matkina can. So, this is our next main quest, the Code Calculating Jack. We have to find Matkina. And these are less interesting. And now, we are in a new part of the city, in Cliff's Edge. Cliff's Edge is the slums of Sargus Cliffs, where houses are built so close to the edge that they keep falling down. And yeah, well, that doesn't end too well for the people. Yeah, she was here when I was just waking up and getting ready for the stream. So, and we've also been to Government, so Circus Minor and Government Square are the only two parts of the city we have visited so far. This is the third one, Cliff's Edge. And we are here to find Erritis, who, well, seems to have... Airships are known to be nearly uncrashable due to their leisurely cruising speeds and simplified controls. This crash must have taken a rather unique confluence of events to occur. And he stands right by it, so maybe he has something to do with it. Let's see. Good question. Iron Man guy? You mean Robert Downey Jr.? I'd say maybe this guy here? Well, I'm not too... I'm watching not enough Marvel to have to think that, I guess. Hey, no, he doesn't look like Robert Downey Jr. I'd say more like... Maybe this picture helps? No, it doesn't. I think he looks like a wrestler in here. With some cool... He's got living tattoos, for all of you who don't know. Okay, I think he looks even less like Robert Downey Jr. But everyone is entitled to their own opinion. It does work. I mean, why shouldn't it work? But have you cleaned it yet? I think we left it quite messy for you. But let's ask Aitasii what he thinks of your new oven. The first thing you notice about this wiry young man is the golden haze, the glow surrounding him. It sparkles in his eyes and gives his easy grin a warmth that you can feel right down to your gut. He spots you and straightens.
I know what you're thinking. How in the world did you survive that crash, Erritis? The answer is, as it always is, backflips. But hold on. How did you know my name? Never mind. Not important. Of course you know my name. I'm Erritis.
He plants his hands on his skinny hips and beams. How did you end up crashing the airship? I'm glad you asked. This is somewhat of an understatement. He looks ecstatic. I was climbing up the cliffs off to Caravanserai to see how impossible it was when I saw a star falling toward the reef. He raises an earnest finger. I knew right then that finding that star was my destiny. He runs his hands through his curls. But what was I going to do? Climb down? Boring. Already did it the other way. Walk? Walk! Worse, far worse, no fun at all. He grins. Then I saw the airship docked over my head. I raced on up, borrowed the ship, and pointed it right at the reef. I don't know what happened next. Despite my expert piloting, the airship steered itself directly at the cliffs. I had no choice. I landed it as fast and hard and safely as possible. I never did find that falling star. At this point, someone else has found it, and it's their destiny now. The NPCs, your companions that you can recruit, and the more important NPCs, they have an own voice. For example, if you click on the picture, the portrait of our companions, they also say, "Okay," or something. But so the first sentence they say when you meet them is they talk outright. Okay. Okay, what should we tell him? Cute. Without E. Or anyone else who's watching. Because this is... I already don't know what I should say to him. But I want to recruit him, so... and we will. This is our third and... I think final companion for our quest. Because these three guys... I haven't taken with me in my first playthrough. In my first playthrough I was an all-woman posse. Now we are just only some boring guys. Yes. So that you know. 2. No, 3. Okay. Okay. Cheer up. I bet no one found that star. That's nice of you to say. You're kind, you know that? That's a rare thing these days. Very rare. People like you deserve wonderful things. Inspiration strikes his face like lightning. Lightning, I think they want to write. His glow blooms until he's hard to look at. And I'm going to sure you get one. Let's travel together. Don't say no. Yes, I want you to join me. Of course you do. And I'm ready. I'm always ready. Are we heading into a fight or should I start one?
Well met yourself. Well met yourself. Is there more danger? So be it.
It's a little quiet, isn't it? You tell me, but I think it's a little quiet. But maybe only because I only have one ear. Me too, and it was really hard to let him go in my first playthrough. I had him with me quite a while, but then other characters showed up. Yes, right. Okay, so what can you tell me about this? This hatch appears to be the only visible means to enter the building. It's firmly sealed. Okay. But it doesn't look like we wanted to enter it anyway. Sargus townsperson. Let's talk to him. I run this respectable boarding house. At least it used to be before that priest moved in. So what does Erritis have? He's got a great sword. And he's an overly impulsive Glaive who is as heroic as he believes himself to be. The more heroic his actions, the more powerful and self-fulfilling they become. Okay, so let's put him into danger. It's... Act first, let someone else ask questions later, if then. Aitasii has yet to see a downside to this plan. Glaives. You know Glaives are warriors. Oh, we have a Jack, a Glaive, and a Nano in our troop. And we are a stealthy Jack. Okay. Anything else of interest? No. Cloak, body,
Do those tattoos hurt? They look like they probably hurt.
Does your glow hurt you?
Is this one of your riddles? If so, your riddles hurt too.
I know I'm very bright. No, it's not only your your screen. It's because of this fucking sun. And it's not even that bright, but the window is quite large. So, okay. So I think that's better. Yeah. Let's hope it stays that way. And the sun stays right in this spot. There's no sun today. I know, and it's still way too bright. Mother Temaz. She looks interesting. This woman glares at the air above her head, her fingers fretting with a single bead in a long, peculiar chain of them. With a single bead. A long, peculiar chain. Okay. Her low, angry muttering resolves into words as you get closer. Foolish boy, shivering at the crossroads, mazed by your choices. Go on and pick beauty, pick strength, pick pleasure, whatever that be. The particulars don't matter, boy. What matters is the choosing, and that you do it. I think almost every conversation here looks like it might have consequences, so... Much better, yeah. But now it's getting worse, isn't it? Ah, it's alright. 3, okay. She blinks at the empty air and her hands steal to a metallic, many-faceted bead near the end of the chain. Aye, you would. And it's serving you just as well as him. Mother Temaz knows you, lad. Born falling you were. Born in flame, shreds of your smoldering coal streaming through the air. When you struck ground, your bead first went cold, then hotter than a mother's hatred. Scarcely born you are, and learning quick, but you're still uncertain. All boys and girls are, until they start making choices and dealing with the consequences. Until they accept the cost of being adults. No, it's okay to confuse me. That's what this makes this stream always a little more interesting. Cute without E. Help. Okay. How do you know who I am? That's no mystery, lad. Have your bead, don't I? Formed it from a pinch of the coal. I hear your thoughts as clear as moonlight in a cup. You're confused, but that'll change. You'll have your feet under you soon enough. Not all of my children are as lucky.
Updated my journal.
This one, she says, showing you the bead she was speaking to before you arrived. It's carved in the shape of a malformed ring. Piquo wants to escape his past. He saved a handful of shins by honest means. That is to say, it's taken him a long time, and he's too busy pissing over the options to spend it. Push him into choosing a path, lad. Do that, and I'll return your call to you, improved through my art and stronger than when you lost it. How should I help Piquo? Where can I find him? You haven't been listening, lad. Don't help him. Convince him to help himself. Agonizing over a choice is foolishness. Every choice will bite you, lad. Life is building a collection of mistakes all your own. Where can I find him? He's in Cliff's Edge. Oh, that's where we are right now. Where again? In Cliff's Edge, nearby, I'd say. I have questions about something else. Go on, then. About you. Waste of time. I'd rather you lend your mind to the favor I asked of you, but ask and be done. Well, why do you care about Piquo? I can't not, she says, twisting the many-faceted bead between her thumb and forefinger. I'm not like you, my lad. Caring is what lines my spine and holds me upright. Tell me about that chain of beans, not chains of beans, you're holding. I make one for every child I deliver, made with wood and their mother's blood carved in the shape of their soul. Touching their beads tells me if they are well, or more often if they are not and need a mother's help. Sometimes I just witness a birth, but I still carve a bead to mark the occasion, if I think the child is worth remembering. Oh, that's why she looks at us. Why do people call you mother? I've delivered every child of a mortal woman Cliff's Edge, and some who were not. Do you have any children of your own? Nay, none or never have, in fact, but as the saying goes, all children in Cliff's Edge have 2 mothers. That's better than having one of my own. Do you like living in Cliff's Edge? Good morning, Shiroxy! Halloin! You haven't missed much. We have a new companion called Erritis, who's out for adventure. Acting first and letting other people bother asking questions. And now we're talking to Mother Temaz, who wants us to find a child of her, but she seems to be a midwife. That's at least what she says. Shiroxy, I had a question about the Xbox controller you bought, I think. What was that? I wanted to know something. Yes, you've always played with the keyboard, I think. So is the Xbox controller the first controller you've really played much with? Still here, aren't I? She says, wrapping the chain of beads around her fingers. I like having my children all around me. Was war meine Frage? Ah. I have other questions. You mentioned you had my call? That's not what it is. A call, I had to look it up way back when I played it the first time. I think a call is like a cocoon. You mean this ground? I'm sorry for that, Shiroxy. You mean this? Okay. I myself can't reproduce that. But I'm getting a little dizzy now too. Okay. Does this happen often? Or is this the first time? I'm not a fool, boy, but you were born above my city, so I know you, like or not. She reaches into the bag strapped to her hip. Something glitters within. This is your call, torn from you at birth. Name it what you will, but know what it be. Can I have a look at my call? When you finish the task I asked of you? Not before. I want to ask about you. Someone in particular. We are looking for Matkina. Maybe she knows her. A note of wary caution enters Mother Temaz's voice, and she drops the chain to coil snake-like into the palm of her hand. Where's Rin? You describe the girl you're seeking, and she runs the chain of beads through her loosely coiled fist. Didn't deliver her. Don't know her. She doesn't come from Cliff's Edge, and may not be from Sagas neither. Matkina? She listens as you describe the woman you're seeking and begins to shake her head. Then she recalls. You're speaking of the wild death, she growls, gripping the ends of the chain of beads in her hands and pulling them taut until all of them shiver on their string. Mark the fated ones well, the ones as cold as long night snow. More than a few are down to her and their careful, careless knife. Oh, let's never ask her about Matkina again. Farewell, Mother Temaz. Rabbit or duck, yeah. We all know the rabbit or duck one. Or, the two faces, left and right, and the cup in the middle. That's another one I know. Or a well-known one, I'd say. And have you ever? I know what you mean. Can look like the floor. Okay, better. That should be better.
Go.
Okay. Or have you also ever looked at? Do you know? I think in the 90s they were quite a hit. The books where there's nothing to be seen. It's just colors everywhere. A mess of colors. But when you look at it and kind of focus on a specific focus on the middle, and then your brain makes tick, and you really see a 3D picture coming at you. I love those, but it's also this little, like a little lever you pull in your head, and then it all goes. Whoop. I don't sleep anymore. Anything wakes me up. Arguments, footsteps on stairs, screaming.
All right.
What are they talking about? Who here has seen the stickers? Not rumors, but an actual sighting. I saw it by the Chiurgical. I started sneaking around old Skewer's place. I heard something rustling inside the crash airship. One at a time, one at a time. Do something. What would the stickers want in Cliff's Edge? I thought they stayed underground. Why would it be here? Who can say, friends? Who can say? Okay, they're looking for a stickers. Or stickers. Stickers. Let's talk to them. The hooded thug. I'm gonna mount the digger's head on his bike. What? Those monsters took my home, took my family. His lordship knows what's best for us. Count on it. The stickers must be stopped. He's just trying to make a name for himself. Sogged by the Chiurgical. Oh, he's repeating himself. Wonder if he's going to offer a bounty. I take it in a second. We're gonna mash that thing into the dirt. Mercenary. Don't talk to me. Grrr. Okay. Is that a quick save? Yes. Let's talk to Lord Vuntgen. Stupid name. A whole series on Netflix? I know. Explained? It's called but Mind Games or something. Yeah, I've heard of it. Never heard about it. Oh, the colors from the game are very pale. Are they? Maybe in Cliff's Edge now, yes they are. But in general, I think it's a... But maybe, at least if you compare it to Planescape Torment, the colors are quite bright, even. Planescape Torment is all gray and brown, nothing else. So, to me, it's still too colorful sometimes. Yeah, the other areas, Circus Minor was brighter. The old and young women. Yes. Ah, yes! That's the one. Oh, and another one where you see a witch or a girl looking back. But back to my controller question, Chiurgical. So you stopped playing with 18. So I think you are my age, weren't you? I think you were. So you haven't played, but you haven't played with a controller for quite many years, haven't you? For 10 years? That's still a long time ago. And I know how hard it can be to restrain yourself from buying more and more games. But PS3 games are way more expensive than PC games, so I still have the illusion of having my problem under control. 2 years older. Okay. Okay, well, 10 years? It's quite a lot. But you had no problem with, getting reacquainted with controlling via controller. And you already have said that you are quite, that you like your new Xbox controller. Yeah, the PS3 was backwards compatible. I think the PS4 was not as much. And the PS5 can only play PS4 games, I think. And PS5 games, of course. But not PS3 games. And that was pissing me off. Declaiming to the crowd is a well-dressed but sickly-looking man. Okay. Short, dumpy, and an unhealthy shade of yellow. Despite this, he has the proud demeanor and the stentorian voice of a much larger man. He booms to you as you approach. Ah, another likely fellow. Excellent. The people have called for deliverance from this ravaging stickers, and the hero has answered. Most courageous of you.
Making a note.
He smiles. All you have to do is be the first to find the rogue stickers that's been terrorizing Cliff's Edge. Return here and tell me precisely where it is, and I'll take it from there. He pats you on the shoulder. And you'll be rewarded, I promise you. As the head of a slave family, I'll owe you a favor, and my favor carries a good deal of weight. Well, can I ask you more about the stickers and its kind? Of course! Knowing the enemy is the first step to defeating it. What exactly is a stickers? They are horrible, undermining vermin from another world. They tunnel beneath the streets of our city, undermining our homes and causing them to collapse. Our deaths are nothing to them. They don't even believe that humans are sentient creatures. Nothing more. Cool. I'm looking forward to mine, or to ours. I ordered 2, so Kitty Cat and I can finally play in our new home on the TV. The Bluetooth connection didn't hold from my PC to the Fire TV I'm using as the Steam Link. So I streamed from my PC to the Amazon Fire TV, but the controller was still connected via Bluetooth to the PC, and the distance was too long, too far. So that's why I bought the new controllers, and I hope, and I think they should be compatible to the Amazon Fire TV. So the new gaming happiness can start. Alrighty, kitty. It Takes Two. There's no doubt about it. What's It Takes Two? I've never heard of it. Is it a PS5 exclusive? That might explain why I've never heard of it. What else can you tell me about the rogue stickers you're looking for? The vile thing appeared in Cliff's Edge a few days ago, and it's been skulking around ever since. The whole neighborhood lives in fear of it. Why is Cliff's Edge so afraid of these stickers? Some will tell you it's because the district has suffered the most from the stickers digging. Houses collapsing on the people, others falling into the sea. There's some truth to that, but the real reason is that the people here have become weak and afraid. They aren't prepared to face adversity. He leans in, warming to his subject. Indeed. If the sticker didn't exist, I would be tempted to invent them, for they are just what the city needs to stiffen its spine. Sarga's Cliffs, our once proud empire, has abandoned its holdings and ceded its territories to autochthonous tribes and wild beasts. It's time to take them back, but how can we do that when our citizens have become lazy, timid children? Look who's talking. Ooh, it's a choice, Shiroxi. A hyped co-op PS5 game, okay. On Steam. Oh, okay. Let me look just a second. No, not my library, in the store. As It Takes Two. Oh, I see it. It's not a PS5 exclusive, apparently. Overwhelmingly positive. Ooh. Okay, wish list. Okay, let's continue. Shiroxi and Cute Without E when you're already back, but I doubt that. What should we tell him? Do we think it would be a good idea to... Do we think the citizens have become lazy, timid children and we have to invent scary stories to make them less lazy? Wouldn't they be more timid then? You're right. Without conflict, people will be complacent. Saga Cliffs had an empire. 3? Okay, Shroxy. Power to the people. Power to the people. And when that leader is gone, the city will fall back into apathy. No, an enemy is what this city needs. And strive rediscover our finest selves, so it has always been. Saga Cliffs had an empire? I think that proves his point, but still. Indeed. We held all the lands from here to Ornus Unaigran. That was before the slave uprising that brought the slave families to power. Some of us seek to reclaim what we lost. Other questions about the sticker, but I think again. Well, how did the sticker come to be in Sagus Cliffs? Several members of the council believe that it's the work of our enemies, that their eggs were brought here from another world, an act of vengeance or sabotage perhaps. Others think that the eggs were always here, and it took them centuries to hatch. But how? It doesn't matter to me. They're here and they are dangerous, and it's up to every true citizen of Sagus Cliffs to resist them. Can I ask you something else? Who are the slave families? We are the descendants of the slaves who rose up with Chila the Great. They smashed the oligarchs who ruled the city and replaced their despotism with fair and egalitarian leadership, creating a city where anyone can achieve anything if they only try. Sounds like bullshit. Well, it was a good idea, but I think it's back to its roots, the city. When I look at Lord Vuntgen, him. City of Opportunity, my ass. What can you tell me about Cliff's Edge? Alas, I rarely pass through these miserable streets, so I know little about them, but I go where my city needs me. Yeah. Tell me about yourself. I am Jars Vuntgen of House Vuntgen, one of the most respected of the slave families. I also have the honor of serving on the council. I don't usually ascend to this neighborhood, but in such a crisis one must put one's finer feelings aside and do what one can for one's city. Anything else? I'm looking for an albino woman, an assassin named Matkina. Do you know her? I don't know who that is, and by the sound of it, I don't want to. She sounds like a dreadful person. As he speaks, his eye twitches. He might be lying. And we know from the clerk in Government Square with whom we spoke, we also asked him about Matkina, and he said there are quite a lot of... there's a lot of writing about Matkina that always seems to end abruptly. He said something like that. So people in the government know about Matkina and use her as an assassin. Are you certain you don't know Matkina? I know of her. That's not the same as knowing her, and I don't know her as... what was it? Matkina? I know her only as the White Death. The council has had dealings with her before. Okay. Farewell. I don't like Lord Vuntgen. I never liked him. There's a Dendra Uhur cultist, and we know about the Dendra Uhur that they eat... the flesh creeps if you let it. If you let it in, the voices climb like weeds, like vines over. He's too fast. One taste is never enough. One taste is too much. Everything we are is written in our shadow. What takes the shadow away? Flesh bubbles and rots, but the regrets remain in pockets like poison. Okay. Yes, the Dendra Ahur eat the dead, and with eating the dead, they get to know, they take their memories with them and all they know. So they are preserving knowledge, but they're also cannibals. Everyone can decide for themselves what they think about that. Strange fluids rush from these pipes, hinting at vast machinery and pipage within the cliffs themselves.
Yes.
Ooh, more cultists, I think. Aitasii. Surprise briefly registers on the cultist's face when she sees you. Then she slightly inclines her head in respect. Greetings, beloved vessel. How may I help you? You seem less deferential than some of the other cultists. Why? Not all of us revere your father. We simply honor him for his boundless wisdom and bottomless knowledge. We wish to emulate him. But worship him? No. Why? We all interpret the lessons of your father in different ways. I honor him for his wisdom, but I do not worship him. That doesn't answer why. Okay, but good day to you. Barant. I'm not much of a talker, but I like listening. Goromo. Scrums. Shiroxi, if you don't understand what Cute Without E is talking about,
I'm ready.
her boyfriend is my best friend and my best man on my wedding, and he has, when it comes to talking, he has kind of a self-control issue, maybe. Sometimes it seems he can't think without speaking it, and that's what she's referring to. This fallen pile of wood and stone marks the place where a house once stood. Let's walk away. Oh, Piquo! He's the one that Mother Temaz wants to find. Okay. Okay, Piquo. My interest is piqued. The mutant boy gazes at the entrance to the Chiurgical parlor, flinching at each scratch of razor metal on metal from within. By your estimation, he's in his late teens, but is the size of a young, malnourished child. His arms are little more than bone, wrapped in red speckled skin, and the raw line zigzags down between his mismatched eyes and over his blade of a nose, as if pointing directly at his thin lips. He sees you looking, and bird-like muscles flex in his frail jaw. Get a good look. Or maybe you want to call me some names? I hear Actual a lot. Or maybe Lightning Bolt, I get that one from time to time. Don't let me stop you. Call me some names. Laugh. Do it now, because in another few minutes, I'll be the one laughing. What are we saying to him? Please don't choose one. Harry Potter? Yeah, that's what I thought of too. Yeah, 2. So, if no one disagrees, calm down, Earthquake. Very funny, hilarious. And you know what? I am calm. I'm not going to be the butt of everyone's jokes anymore. He says. Electricity sizzles within the nearby parlor. This time he does not flinch away. Lighting flickers trapped in his determined eyes. I have some money, all right. I'm going to use it to change myself. Change everything I can. He trails off, studying you in turn. His eyes widen and he glances quickly away, studying the nearby parlor instead. Auf für 2. Sehr gut. What sort of changes are you considering? Can everyone buy improvements from the parlor? Yes. You pay the keeper and the drones can make your body the way you want. What was that? Okay. Yeah, let's begin with that. What sort of changes are you considering? What do you care? I'm sure you have business somewhere in the city. I don't want to be any trouble. Why did you look at me strangely earlier? His mouth trembles as though he's wrestling with a question he doesn't want to ask. Doesn't feel good to be stared at, does it? He says at last, looking back at the parlor. He seems to be deflecting your question, though it isn't clear why. Mother Temaz sent me. I want to help. Oh? She knows. Of course she knows, and that means you know too. Fine, I'm scared, alright? I've had this ugly face, this body, my entire life. I've saved up to change myself, my future. Maybe I can become strong enough to deal with the people who hurt me. Maybe I fix my face. It can do that, but then I'll still be small. Despite the anger in his voice, tears are shining at the corners of his eyes.
Making a note.
I can only use the machines in the parlor once, understand? It's too expensive. I spent years saving up all this money and it's not enough to fix me. He opens his pouch to display a moderately impressive collection of coins. At all this money, Tiber glances over just in time to see the pouch open. His eyes bulge. Poor lad. All that coin must be weighing him down. We should lighten his load. Tiber, you motherfucker! No! Before we say anything to him, you can... I'll just leave the stream for a moment to make the famous pee break. And you can look and see what we might want to ask him or tell him. Be right back. Maybe that is what a pirate would say, but we don't have to stick to our pirate character. Okay, but well, if it gives you joy, we will stick to the pirate character. Before I say anything, I want to ask you some questions. Alright. He scratches his hairless cheek. I want to know about your past. You already know everything important. I don't care about where I come from. Alright? The future is what matters. I can't help you make the best if you don't tell me about yourself. Persuasion. Well, Erritis is not that persuasive. Maybe I should have slept before. Come on! Yes, success.
Updated my journal.
Fine. You asked, remember? He covers his eyes and begins speaking as fast as he can. My parents came to the city with a tribe of people like me. I was born in the underbelly. My first memory is of someone spitting on me. My only friend was a girl named Crooked Queek, and we had to play in an alley so the normal kids wouldn't hurt us. When I was 12, someone killed my father in a bar and it wasn't even investigated. So I left and I haven't seen anyone from the tribe since. Let them live off scraps in the dark. I'd rather die up here than down there. How did you earn your money? Shin at a time. I went from shop to shop asking for work. Some of them kicked me out, but others let me sweep once a week or cook. I've done nearly every job in this city at least once. No one ever wanted me to stay, though. They thought I scared customers off. They were probably right. Okay. I want to help you decide what to do with that money. Alright. He says softly, staring down into a pouch of shins that's heavy but not heavy enough. Further proof that money of all sorts is the root of every human misery. You should cheer up the lad by removing his golden chains. Tiber, you ass butt. Yeah, I didn't know that Tiber was such an asshole. But I think the character arc would profit from him becoming a better man. I can't think of better uses for your money besides changing your appearance. I want to see what this does for us. Or let me first save and now talk to him again. Huh? Like what? Oh no. No, Tiber. No, I just wanted to see what options we have. I would still tell him the strength option if you want to. I just wanted to see if maybe this is even a better choice. 3 would also be a piratey option. Okay. So, should he make himself stronger? Should he get an education? Or should he have fun? Okay. So, we will... I think... No, before we do that, let's sleep a little at Tranquility's Rest. So we have our intellect. Oh no, Elegant had even still 6 intellect. No, let's sleep first. Tranquility's Rest was at Caravanserai, and Caravanserai is accessible via Government Square, yes. Alright. So, Shiroxi, I think, to me, this... If you say that the colors are up... Hey, I can understand both. That the colors look pale and that they look colorful. Somehow. I think there are many different colors, but all of them are a little undersaturated, I'd say, and that's why both opinions are true, I guess. Yeah! Do you have everything you wanted when you went shopping on Friday? Oh, to Hornbach. Yes, we have. And we knew that they didn't have one specific thing we wanted, but we have. Right. There's another option. We wanted to finally close the gap at the kitchen counter, from the kitchen counter to the wall, and we now will choose silicon. Just silicon, because the thing we bought at IKEA, the holds the wooden thing. Looks a little old-fashioned, and the other option would have been buying something like, it looks like Frit. Wow, ist Frit ein cow? The gum snack, and but Hornbach doesn't have that, and you could have put that on the gap to close it, but we would have to order it on Amazon, and also it's always so big. It takes a little space away, so
Before someone tries to kill me.
we will just use silicon. And Kitty Cat is quite good at that, so I have no doubt that it will look fine. Your dad would be proud? Why, is he a Selbermacher? Ah yeah, he is, isn't he? You mentioned that. Oh, there. He just loves silicon. Why? I mean, we're not talking about boobies, okay? You know that. Nothing like the feeling of solid ground beneath your boots, eh? Okay. Weird. Sorry. I'd depart before too long, another month in the open sky. Not an easy life air sailing. The clouds are hungry sometimes. Okay, Tranquility. This is a little hotel here in Sargos Cliffs. A woman as tall and graceful as a willow steps forward to greet you. She bows, then looks down at you with warm, gold-flecked eyes. Welcome, she says, to Tranquility's Rest. I am the proprietress, Tranquility. Are you looking for a place to take your ease? As she speaks, a sense of delicious calm comes over you, and you find yourself wanting to agree with her. There's nothing you'd like better right now than the peace and solitude of a quiet room. So she is ASMR incarnate, it seems. You begin to wonder if the sense of peace that surrounds Tranquility has something to do with the way she speaks. Her voice is low and rich, and she appears to be modulating it in some way. The technique is subtle, but the effect is profound, calming you and making you feel a little sleepy. Forgive me for asking, but are you human? She laughs melodiously. No need for apologies. Given my height, it is a natural question. I am indeed human. A human mutant and fortunate to live in Sargos Cliffs where that is not a crime. There are very few places in this world where someone like me would even be allowed to clean a hostel, let alone own one. Tell me about yourself again. I am a mutant and thankful to live in a city that tolerates my kind. My business has flourished here. Elsewhere I might have been stoned or killed for sport. Tell me about Tranquility's Rest. It is the most peaceful inn in Sargos Cliffs with the most beautiful views. All rooms face outward so that the bustle of the Caravanserai is invisible and inaudible. All you see is sky and sea and the roofs of the city far below you. And all you hear is the breeze. I am the sole owner, and I have been offering solitude, security, and discretion to travelers for 20 years. You will never have as sound a night's sleep as you will when you stay here. Tranquility's Rest is an oasis in the sky, a place to leave the cares of travel behind and rest within your mother's arms. I provide peace, protection, and privacy. You're using your tone of voice to calm me. Is that something you learned? She raises her eyebrows. Very few people notice that. Well done. I am indeed manipulating my voice. When I opened this place, I wanted to make it the most relaxing hostel in the 9th world. And I worked to make every aspect of it soothing, even my voice. Another talent of mine has been helpful as well. What talent? Okay. Could you use your calming abilities to put me into a trance? What a great host, yeah! I think you wrote that before her innuendo. No one has ever asked me something like this before. As interesting a proposition as it is, I must refuse, for fear of some complication or retaliation for the same. Please, I promise to hold you blameless if anything goes wrong. Aren't you curious to see what will happen? Okay, let's... Tibia, Elegant, use all your charm. Very well. As long as you are willing to absolve me from blame, I will do it. Now, take my hands and close your eyes. As you take her hands, a scent like baking bread, oof, one of the best scents, and honey overwhelms you, and she begins to sing in a soft but resonant contralto. The melody fills your head, making it heavy with slumber so that your chin drops to your chest. You feel like you're being lowered gently into a warm bath. The water closes over your head, but there's no fear of drowning. You have returned to the womb, where all is comforting darkness and the steady pulse of a beating heart. Oh, that sounds lovely. And we're in the calm, our mind. So, what's changed? You're looking a lot more well-rested than you usually do. Again. Has anything changed? Look around, it's your mind. Okay, has anything changed?
All right. Yes.
I think this is old. Yes. So,
Yes.
no, nothing has changed. Okay. But wait, shouldn't... I thought there should... 3 people should be here. But there aren't. Okay,
Yes.
leave the area.
Now. Ah, much better.
Right. We are just standing there with our mouth open and drooling on the floor. Phew, that was nice, Tranquility. Welcome back, friend. You have been missed. I'd like a place to sleep. I'm so pleased, and I'm sure you will be most comfortable. The price is 20 shins per person. Ooh. Okay. Thank you, my friend. Rest well. Just a reminder, lad. Riz will be dead by the day after tomorrow if we don't do anything to save him. Okay. Nice. Thank you for the reminder. I think we didn't need to pay the shins. I think there is a way to sleep without paying anything. But, well, we can always make more money. Let's get back to our Piquo friend. You know what? Let's not pay her the 20 shins. Or 20 shins per person. I think there's another way, and we need the money maybe for something, so later. Also, they are just still the pools are too full. He still has 5 might, 5 speed. No. Yeah, you know me. I'm not proud of it, but sometimes a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okie dokie. So, back to...
I'm going.
Cliff's Edge. Step back to... Well, no. Yeah, Circus Minor. And then to Cliff's Edge. But at least we know now where we can visit the calm anytime we want to. Anywhere we want to, that's the way we live. I want his hat. This would make us even more of a pirate. Okay, back to Piquo. Oh, let's talk to maybe the Chiurgical has a different idea. The shape of this operating table provides little information regarding the physiology of the beings it was originally designed to treat. It's like Zoidberg's sickbay. These displays show information regarding patients, conveniently visible from anywhere within the parlor. But there are no patients. These shelves are bound with beakers, flasks, and other myriad containers. The utter lack of labels on any of them is somewhat worrying. The books jamming the shelves of this desk are divided equally between obscure medical texts and mechanical how-to manuals. Oh, Glaive, you're here, why?
Got a discount art implanted in the bar once. Sell nothing but walls of figures for 3 days.
Jernaugh. No. Jernaugh. This old man's skin is covered in makeup painstakingly drawn to resemble dark stone. His eyes widen briefly as he notices you, and his face and neck hardens into actual obsidian for a moment. Then he smiles and nods at you, his features mobile once more. Okay. Welcome, welcome. Nah, he's a stone man. Welcome, welcome. Sorry about the stone. Polymorphic flesh modification, you see. I didn't see you walk up, and I assumed you were going to cut my throat and take my Chiurgical parlor for yourself. Hey, the day's young. His face flashes into obsidian for a split second before flashing into copper. The old man is blushing. Apologies, apologies. I knew you were joking, but the modifications are touchy about such things. And really, I'm glad they are. If I were a younger man looking to make a name for myself in the city, I'd kill me too. Okay. My Chiurgical parlor is a marvel of the prior world, you see. Just pick an item or a service, pay my outrageous fees, and after only a short to long period of fairly safe but indescribable agony, you walk away with some horrible Numenera bits whirring away inside you. He pokes a few buttons on a device strapped to his wrist, and lights twinkle across its length. A dark, glassy lens focuses on you. Well, interested? I can't help noticing that you're a very honest man. Well spotted. Clear streaks of quartz run up his prominent cheekbones, revealing the muscle beneath. That's a side effect of my modifications. Couldn't lie to you if you begged me to. Honestly, honesty is usually a hindrance to a businessman, but people seem to like it. How did you come to own this parlor? It was originally a partnership. My colleagues and I spent 2 years digging it out and getting the whole mess working. Of course, we had to test the drones before we tried them on anyone else. Customers getting skinned alive on opening day is bad for business. Turns out that was a wise move. Gorno chose an intelligence modification, and the drones cut off his head to work on it more directly. Mio picked strength, and the drones sliced off her arms. They defaulted to sever in those days. Anyway, 6 partners later, I was the sole proprietor. I worked out the kinks, and here we are, with no fatalities in months. No fatalities in months. I think so too. Everyone has a nice story, and it's funny, it's out there, it's odd, it's strange. That's what Numenera is all about. It's always weird, and they all have their own personality. And even we can even talk to Glaive number 3, Citizen number 4, and they each and almost every one of them has something different to say, even if it's not always as exciting as this guy here. All of my partners died horrific deaths testing the drones. I still have nightmares. Okay, Piquo, that kid out there, can't decide which service to buy. Children. I told him to choose muscle over looks. The world's a tough place and getting tougher. People will respect him if he can crush their necks with one hand. Or fear. Same thing, really. Show me your list. Of course, he says, tapping a few buttons on the broad device encircling his wrist. The lens beams a cone of light directly onto your eye, which immediately begins watering. Blinking, you see a menu of items, seemingly hanging in the air. The clawed gauntlets, the jagged memory, the encroaching darkness? What are blood nanites? The Numenera analyzer sounds safest? An artificial eyeball? Really? How painful are the procedures? Can I buy a full body modification like the one you offered to Piquo? How painful are these procedures? That is a popular question, and it does vary from procedure to procedure, but if you're seeking a general idea, my customers usually range between shrieking for a merciful death and groaning while soiling themselves. If that helps, but they almost always seem happy with the results when they survive. Now, are you ready to buy something? How painful are these procedures again? Unbearably, but only for a moderate to fairly long time. At any rate, what are you interested in? Can I buy a full body modification? No, you're too old, far too old. Practically ancient compared with that poor lumpy boy. Those particular augmentations prefer young flesh, but there's plenty of other enhancements here on sale. Which one interests you? But he wasn't that young, wasn't he? He was just small, I thought, because he's a mutant. But maybe I misread that. Let's go through them. The clawed gauntlets. I knew that would catch your eye. We blend long hollow rods in your forearms with steel blades sheathed inside. Just flick your wrist and out they pop, surprising anyone who mistook you for unarmed. He demonstrates with his unoccupied wrists, making little shk sounds. 125 shins for the weapon and the worker both. No thank you. You're lost. Interested in anything else? The jagged memory. This is a tricky one. It's a mesh that fuses through your skin, leaving jagged marks like tattoos. When you attack, you'll always hit your enemy's old wounds, even if they weren't there before. Told you what is a tricky one. Yours for 110 shins. No thank you. I'm just going through all of them, and when we have more shins, we will come back to him. The encroaching darkness? A beguiling name, isn't it? I'm glad you like it because I'm not quite sure what it does. It's a living creature, you see, that crawls around your body while you sleep. Eventually it takes root in your nervous system and does something. Could be good, could be bad, could be both. It certainly won't be boring. 110 shins. Okay. What are blood nanites? It's quite simple. The drones fill your body with millions of tiny machines that promptly begin devouring you alive until they learn to differentiate between your body and anything that's not supposed to be in there. After that, they'll do their level best to purge toxins and illnesses from your body with every pump of your heart. In case I wasn't clear, this one is really going to hurt. 95 shins paid in advance, please. No, thank you. The Numenera analyzer sounds safest? It's quite safe. Most of the time. In almost 3 out of 5 cases. And the procedure couldn't be simpler. The drones simply saw your skull open, shove an implant into the right spot, and seal everything back up again. Once they do that, the implant will help you identify the purposes of unknown Numenera. It costs 95 shins, but it pays for itself. No, thank you. An artificial eyeball. Really? Very popular item. The meat ones wear out so easily. This one never does, and it'll help you spot things normal eyes miss. All it takes is a one-time cost of 110 shins and a tremendously unpleasant operation. No thank you. We have only 100... Other questions? Farewell. I won't miss you, but I'll miss your money. Because we have been doing so many things here, Parlor. A hard save from time to time.
I am the very soul of action.
Yes, you are, Erritis. Yes, you are.
What? We ready to go? Is there more danger? So be it.
Piquo. I want to help you decide what to do with that money. Okay. Again. Oh. You think we should buy the artificial eye now? Maybe you're right, and maybe it will... Ooh. You're talking about... So, first, Q without E. Maybe we should buy that because we will see more stuff sooner rather than later. And maybe we'll miss some things when we don't have the artificial eyeball. I think we will go through all of them and see what they do in a minute. And then decide for ourselves what we will really want. And Chiurgical, if you're talking about... So. Oh, okay. But maybe we should... Anyway. I do use auto attack. For example, in Baldur's Gate. So when my characters see an enemy, they will outright attack. So I don't have to click, click, click. And also I have 4 or 5 archers in my group. And no, 4 archers in my group. And this way they can just with their bows. So I use auto attack, but still give commands when there are harder fights. But when you're talking about the JRPG auto fight, I'm hesitant, but I would think so, yes, because the fights in JRPGs are, in my opinion, the worst part in any JRPG. And I'm always glad when I can skip that or can go through with it faster. And I did use also fight in Final Fantasy VI sometimes for the easier fights. So yeah, if I'm going just strolling through a field and there are some, I don't know, mice attacking you, auto fight it is because it just goes faster. And as long as this auto fight doesn't use up my items, I'm all fine with that, yes. So, peepholes. Should we tell them to get more beautiful, stronger, or educated, or just have some fun? Or should we steal his money? And I hope you don't choose that. I will do if you say so, because we could use the money, but you are bad people if you do that. Bad people. Stronger or fun? Okay. Chiurgical, do you have an opinion on that? I just repeat, Beautiful, strong, fun, or educated? You are for the fun option. Okay. And just so you know, there are still these two options. But if you say fun, I choose fun. Just wanted you to know that there are more than these two options that have been there. So. Then, I'm using the time to adjust the brightness. Fucking sun. Okay. What are you gonna do? Yes, 3. Okay. Life is too short for worry. Use that money on something fun. Okay. Let's use our charming fellow Elegant. Success! I can't be that careless. Can I? Of course you can, lad. Tybur says and casts an expansive hand at the sky. Imagine you use that powder to turn yourself into a paragon of beauty. Then, tomorrow, a bridge falls on you. Smashes you flat. So much for looks, eh? Spend it on liquor, lad, or an instrument. Or he whispers something in Pico's ear. The boy's face turns progressively redder.
Making a note.
I'll think about it. Maybe I don't need to spend all the money at once. Near the Caravanserai? He asks Tybur. Your companion gives a nod in response and a cheery wave. Maybe, when I think about that, maybe that is the nicest option? Or the most life-confirming option? Don't try to change yourself. Just have fun. Just have fun. If you want to get stronger, do some push-ups. Fuck beauty. And what was the third option? Education doesn't sound like fun. Okay. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that choice. This is one choice I never would have made myself. I would have put him into the education at the Iron Priests, just because I don't know. I'm reading Harry Potter again, as you know, Q without E, and I always thought I remembered that Hermione was my favorite character, and now I know after 4.5 books, she really is. I just love her, and yeah. Yes.
Ellie, who drew all over you? It looks like they didn't finish. Or your lines can't make up their mind.
They're in good company then.
You look like a poor man's treasure map. Treasure.
Yes.
Sure enough.
Hermione all the way. Yes, because I always thought she was just smart, but now that I'm reading the books, she's always the most, she also has the emotional intelligence. Harry and Ron are so macho sometimes, and she stays calm, but states her opinion, and yeah, Hermione rules. Okie dokie. Now that we've visited and seen all of this, can we do something with the drones? Chiurgical drone 105. How are you? The small mechanical Chiurgian is roughly the size of your head. At the end of one of its arms, a trio of slender, razor-sharp blades flick at the air. It's not clear whether it's trying to sense you or warning you to keep your distance. Examine the drone. The drone buzzes and a warning at you as you lean in for a close look. The retractable blades leap to your attention.
A tiny shaft of light grazes the edge of each one, and they taste the air like tiny tongues. But you also notice a panel beneath the blades fluttering like an insect's wing. Beneath, you catch a glimpse of a row of saw-toothed injectors. I've seen these before, Alugan mutters. He reaches for the back of the drone and it slashes at him with an outraged hiss. Your companion dips beneath their blurring blade and pokes an innocuous patch on the thing's plating. A hidden panel flies open, filling the air with an incomprehensible babble of high-pitched voices. See what you've got here is a sleeping paean, he says, leaning casually out of the way of another of the drone's furious swipes. A friend of mine had a bunch of wild theories about them. Shame he still had them in his head when one of these things chopped it off. And worse, at his throat, hacking and thrusting, he ducks. One thing he did manage to tell me is that they forget all about you if you don't touch them for 10 seconds. The drone pauses in the air, cocking to one side, then the hatch slaps shut, silencing the babbling voices. There. See? Examine the drone again. Okay. Well, thank you, Elegant, for this nice little tidbit of information. And so dense, yet. I like McGonagall. Oh! I understand that completely. And I mean, Hermione and McGonagall are... Do you say McGonagall or McGonagall? I always said McGonagall. They are... I mean, McGonagall really is kind of like Hermione all grown up. So, I understand that completely. And I think McGonagall is really cool too. And of course, Luna Lovegood. I think... And... I don't know what I think about Book Snape so far. I have forgotten a little how he is in books 6 and 7. Yeah, I know that film Snape is the best character, but I don't remember how Book Snape is. McGonagall, Luna, Hermione, Snape. Who else? Well, yeah, these are the ones. Okie dokie. Then it's now. Okay. I'll make a Parlor save again. Crazy talented but an asshole. Yeah, I mean, he really is such a dickwad. At least the past 4 books. And he really doesn't need to be. Asshole. You're back. Can I interest you in any of my vastly overpriced items and services? Okay. Cloud gauntlets, I don't think we'll need them. Jagged memory sounds interesting. The time traveling or maybe not wound inflicting implant? Yours for 110 shins. No, thank you. I'm interested in the Numenera, the artificial eyeball. You won't regret it. Well, might during the procedure, but after, you won't regret it. I'll take the eye. A drone holds your head mercilessly rigid, while another approaches, claws outstretched. Your head is screaming at you, and you're pretty sure you're screaming back. A third drone, a gleaming blur behind the pane, approaches with a new eye gently clasped in its claw. The drones release you. Groaning and clutching your head, you feel the new eye squirming into your socket, connecting with the nerves there. Then the pain stops. You study your hand, noticing a scar on your hand that you've never seen before. Amazing, isn't it? Are you in need of anything else? Artificial eyeball ability. What's that? +1 in perception. Ooh. Made of synthetic materials and loaded to the brim with advanced sensor technology, this device greatly enhances your visual acuity. It also has a slightly disconcerting propensity to reorient itself at random times, causing odd looks from passersby. So we have a moody eye. Ooh, and who I don't like in the books so far, And I loved him as a kid, but I think that's totally normal, because when you grow up, you notice that Sirius Black might not be the best godfather. He's a good friend, but that's not the job a godfather should have. And these are all the nice little intrinsities. What's the word? Or things I haven't noticed before because I didn't know how life is as a kid. And yeah, that's so far. That's, yeah, Sirius Black. Yes, exactly. And that's what Molly, also a very good character in my opinion, Molly says too. Molly Weasley. She's also badass. Artificial eyeball. 1+1 in perception. We have already had, and we are specialized plus now. I don't know if we need that, but
Try to
okay.
tame your enthusiasm, will you? We're not playing a game.
A game? No. I wasn't playing anything.
You were laughing to yourself. We're not supposed to be having fun here.
Oh, Allegern. If an adventure isn't fun, it's no kind of adventure at all.
Yeah. Let's load again, and because I was curious what the other options do. Yeah, me too, because she's so, I think she's always in the background, but so important, and you don't really notice it, only if you really, well, if you're older and then notice it. And I mean, they are not really bad, but I sometimes hate the Weasley twins. They're just so over the top funny and annoying. Ugh. So what does... And she really has a hard time with them, but she does her best. The Numenera analyzer, that's the other thing that I thought might help us sooner rather than later. They can't get into your brain otherwise, and they rarely ever cut the wrong parts off. 95 shins and the analyzer is yours. Yes, the drones have to open your skull. I'll take it. The drone's metallic arms spin you in place, and you hear a circular saw spinning faster. Faster? Well, you can't claim Jernaugh didn't warn you. The blade clips through your skull in a heartbeat and pincers pry the loose cap aside. You are distantly aware of struggling against the drone's unyielding arms before a metal spine jams itself into your brain. Everything goes right. After mending a breached skull, the machines release you. You stagger, but keep your feet as the implant begins humming. Swirls of text streak past your vision as the thing comes to life. Interesting little thing, isn't it? It does get puzzled by larger Numenera, but it should be able to handle most smaller things you find scattered around. Is there anything else I can help you with? Numenera analyzer. What can it do? +5 law on machinery and mystical and natural. Whispering directly into your mind is in the voice of a somewhat befuddled gentleman of advanced years. This implant bestows upon its user the arcane and obscure knowledge from a mental copy of a long-gone Nino. Often, this knowledge is indecipherable and confusing, but at other times it's useful. They are bullies, yes. And the procedure is unpleasant, yes. Yes. They are, yes, you are a little... I never thought of them of being bullies, but I think you're right. They are a little like, what's the word? What's the German word? Glorified bullies. Okay, the Numenera. Okay, so we now know what it does. Let's load again. I don't think if +5% are that helpful. As far I have, all I know about him so far is from what I think he's might be even a bigger asshole than Snape. But this is what I think of what the last time I read about James Potter was a long time ago, and I haven't gotten to that part where we learn about his bullying days. But when I read that, I thought, no, this can't be. And I thought, whoa, what a bitch. But I don't know if there are any more details that might change my opinion. But on the other hand, it's school, and the jock assholes sometimes become better people in the future, and he seems like he would be a nice guy in the future, but I don't know yet. I know that Lupin, for example, seems like the voice of reason in the group of marauders. So I think I like Lupin so far, and I think that this doesn't change. But I think James is just as bad as Sirius, but maybe worse. Then we'll save it for later. Okay. Other services. Claw Garlands? No. Jacket Memory sounds... Come on, what's that? I'll take it. Drones streak past you, dropping layers of fine, flexible mesh over your forearm. The resulting sizzle, you realize, is your flesh melting. You're not quite sure what the popping sensations in your elbow are, but you're too busy screaming to figure it out. Your vision clears, along with the smoke rising from your charred flesh. An ethereal weapon, caught from a distant time, shimmers against your palm. With a thought, you banish it back to where it came. Summon it again, banish it. Interesting. All done. Good. Can I interest you in anything else? What's that now? We have a weapon in our arm? Let's run. Relativistic damage. This one of the damage types. There are... I don't know where we can read them, but there are several damage types, and I think relativistic is one that's very hard to block. +1 on melee weapon attacks. This artifact is a metal mesh installed beneath your skin that guides your attacks so they will always seem to find an old scar or wound that never quite healed, causing more serious injury than would otherwise be dealt. The noted scholar Erritis postulated that this artifact functions by causing the older wound before the fight ever begins. The injury then troubles the victim, perhaps for years, slowing them such that the current attack lands. Okay. I want the thing that lives in my... Yeah, me too. This is just Parlor fun. The Parlor fun stream today. I know when I first played through... I know we will have so many shins that I think we can buy all of it. If I remember correctly. So we will get back to the Parlor later. Okay, no. Jagged Memory was... Yeah. Encroaching Darkness, did we have that before? The Living Tattoos with them. We'll pick that one now too. The drones close in, opening various underhatches. Tendrils plunge out of the cavities, winding around your head. Icy, oily daggers plunge through your spine, worming down through your arms and legs. Your muffled screams sound very far away. The tendrils abruptly unwind from your face, leaving you gasping for air. You lie still for a moment, feeling your new tenant writhing through the dark channels of your body, leaving tangled brands on the surface of your skin in its wake. Do you know that you're the first person to buy this enhancement? Well, I say enhancement, but I'm not really sure, as I said. Well, Encroaching Darkness does what? Heals 8 points of health per day. This tiny ink-black blot is a living creature made of thick fluid. When applied to skin, it can shape itself into a number of different kinds of black tattoos, shifting easily into complex glyph shapes. When the wearer is asleep, the dark crawls over the skin, changing into new patterns as it finds a new place in the body to rest. Do you know Rorschach from Watchmen? Looks like it. When it has found a suitable spot, its tendrils dig deep into the flesh, providing some form of restorative boon. The exact nature and origin of the encroaching darkness is hard to determine. Aeon priests have debated whether an individual darkness is in fact one entity or an entire civilization living on another being's skin. The relation of the darkness to the wearer is meant to be symbiotic, but the symbiosis appears imperfect. Ooh. Cool stuff, peoples. Cool stuff. I know it's people, but I like saying peoples just because it's funny. Okay, one more to go. And after that, we will pick. I will pick one. Blood nanites. We haven't chosen the blood nanites. Tiny ravenous biting machine that fight illnesses and toxins in your bloodstream. Remarkable little monsters. I want them. Things really do start quite calmly. The drones inject you several times and withdraw to a respectful distance. You breathe, the air seems tinged with the sunset's light. Then you feel the first bite. The machines swarm through you like a metal wave, nipping and tearing, devouring flesh, muscle, and organs. You open your mouth to scream and they pour out in a gleaming flood. Eventually, the machines learn that you are not food. At some point during the operation you fell. Now you rise, panting. Whew. Don't you look healthy? Well, you are covered in your own blood, but you clearly have more. Anything else? What do they do? Blood nanites grants immunity to most fettles that deal damage per round, such as bleeding or burn. Millions of incredibly tiny machines constantly swim around your blood, boosting your immune system and sealing wounds almost immediately. That sounds good. Maybe we'll keep them? How many machines do I have now? 49. Just wait a moment. See you soon. Let's pick the gauntlets, more damage, healing once per day. There are other ways to heal, but blood nanites immunity. Yeah, we will. The decision now is what will we get now and what will we get later, not sure if I want to have the blood nanites now, so we are immune to bleeding effects and stuff, or if I want to have the artificial eyeball that boosts our perception, which might mean that we will see things that we otherwise might not see in this game. And I hate missing out on seeing stuff, so I think I'll choose the eyeball. Yeah, me too. Other people will disagree because they want to have the choice and make their characters just the way they want them, but sometimes choices are just hard to make. And especially when it comes to loot. I'll get the artificial eyeball. I'll take the eye, blah blah blah. Plug, schlunk, continue. Farewell. Artificial eyeball. It's a little... The funny thing is, you can also in
in Planescape Torment, you also have the ability to switch out your eyes because you're but are there other ways to boost up? Fuck the shins. We have the eyeball now. Because you're a little like a zombie in the game and you can't die. And immortal. That's the word I was looking for. You're immortal, and so sometimes you just have to do stuff to your body, and you can't even find things in your body in the game. And you also can switch out your eyeball. So that might be a little nod to the older game. Okay, thank you, Jernaugh. Now let's continue exploring Cliff's Edge from this side, because this is where we started.
I'm ready.
Let's talk to Mother Temaz.
I'm always ready.
Okay, Mother, are you... what was our... Wayward Son? Mother Temaz? No. Oh, yeah, we'll get the call now. Maybe Crooked Creek might be the girl for him now. And we will see her later. Okay, another game saved. If anything, her angry muttering has intensified. She drags the chain of beats between her knuckles, staring into space. What now, my lad? Let's talk about Piquo. Aye. What of him? I've solved his problem. Have you? Mother Temaz's eyes unfocused and her fingers traced the borders of the hollow bead. Mayhap you did. Children should enjoy life. Death doesn't send an invitation. You never know you're at her party until she asks you to dance. Of course, when he's out of money a week from now, I wonder what he'll choose then. I suppose I'll have to see. She hoots about in a saddlebag hanging at her tip. Take the call, lad. You earned it. Off with you. You've done enough here. Ooh, call shield. Ooh, it's a shield. Only usable by us. Mother Temaz claimed to have found the membrane that protected you during your birth in the skies over Sargus Cliffs. She used the membrane to craft a shield that is transparent and thin but surprisingly tough. I got the eyeball. I was undecided between the eyeball and the blood nanites. The blood nanites give us immunity to effects like bleeding and other stuff, but we don't have to fight in this game, so and on the other hand, we are already very perceptive, but now we're specialized plus, and I want to perceive everything that there is to perceive in this game. Also, for you want to perceive everything that there is in this game, I think, and that's why I chose it. So maybe in Sargus Cliffs we will see some stuff that otherwise we wouldn't have. That's my decision, my reasonable decision. Stay safe, lad. Okay, what else do you... some more questions. Again. Other questions. Something again. Lord Vuntgen. Ah. He's a leader of one of the slave families. He has a number of opinions, that boy. Some he shares, some he doesn't. But he's got them all the same. Her fingers steal to an odd beat along the chain. The chain. A snarling head the color of amber. Why doesn't he like this tika? Couldn't say. I'm not one for politics, or politicals for that matter. Anything else? Plumb as depths yourself, and I have no part in your curiosities. You don't seem to like Lord Vuntgen much. Can he be trusted or not? 50-50.
65. 45. Elegant, you still have... No, you don't. Okay. 65. Come on! Yes! I think we we have always succeeded so far with everything we did here. She presses her lips together, eyes flickering between the distant lord and you. You evoke blood on his mother's side, she says at last, so low you can barely hear her. I'll not turn my back on a girl in trouble, but I have no time for disgusting abhumans either. Yovoki are abhumans, so mutants are more or less still human, but, with mutations, while abhumans maybe once were humans, but their mutations were so complete that they sometime in the past they chose to be more like animals, like orcs, for example. And just so you know what abhumans are, and Yovoki is a type of abhuman that's small, yellow, and lives a little fat, attacking with clubs and lives in caves. She shoots a poisonous look in the Lord's direction. I'm not alone in that. If people knew what he was, it would be the end of his politicking for sure and certain. Oh. Yeah. Right. Because he's a abhuman. Yes. A little like that. As I said, in confidence, he has Yovoki blood in him. See it there in the yellow sagging skin? Would be the end of him if people knew. Farewell. Stay safe, my lad.
Gladly.
Let's talk to Erritis. Why shouldn't we?
Danger
Hey, Erritis.
awaits!
Yes, it does, Erritis. It does. It certainly does. You catch Erritis staring at the sky with a distant look in his eyes. His strangely pale skin is nearly bronze, and the golden glow surrounding him.
I should climb a building. No, a tower. And jump off the top. Should it be on fire? Yes. Yes and yes.
What do you choose? Making myself comfortable. 2. Sounds fun. When do we start? Oh, not today. We have things to do, I think. Don't we? The distant look resurfaces, along with a need to so deep it approaches hunger. Anyway, I'm just planning ahead for if things get them. He grimaces as if the word he's trying to say pains him. Boring, temporarily safe, slow? What do you think? Boring. Yes! I have to be moving. Boring seconds turn into boring minutes, then entire hours where nothing happens. And then you're dead of old age, he says, wiping away tears. But you aren't here to talk about me. Or are you? I have some questions about you. I'm not surprised. I'm incredibly interesting. What do you want to know? I've never heard the name Erritis before. What does it mean? Names mean things? I thought they were just there to put words on faces. It should mean fast or possibly handsome. But I really have no idea. Do you know what your name means? He says, turning to your other companions. Travels with idiots. Though in my case, it's less of a meaning and more of a curse. Names can be curses too. I really need to find out where mine comes from, but tell me if you see any idiots and I'll help you drive them off. Hold on, he says, ripping a much-folded page from his doublet. This sounds like an exciting quest to set off on someday. He writes furiously, tongue peeking from between his teeth. Discover secret meaning of name. Done! He tucks the page back into his doublet, grinning. Where do you come from? I came out of the west. Erritis declares, his glowing intensifying. Traveling day and night to escape the hired killers hounding my every step. That's not what I meant. Where did you come from originally? From the storms of the south. And first I think I was only an outline in the clouds of dust, but then... Aitas leans forward, palms spread, eyes wide. I emerged. Swords in every hand, cape swirling. You should have been there. I don't think you're understanding me. Where were you born? That's a strange question. Babies sound interesting. Then he brightens. Literally, of course. You're asking when I realized I was a hero. What are we asking? 1 or 2? Okay. Yes, that's what I'm asking. I don't remember. Maybe I'm supposed to tell you I've always been one? Yes. I've always been a hero. Let's try that again. Probably some boring village. I don't really remember. Let's talk about something else. What is the glow surrounding you? Glow? Seriously, what is that glow surrounding you? What glow? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't see anything. Okay, let's talk about something else. How are things between us, huh? Great! I knew we had the same instincts for adventure. Okay. What's your opinion on the people? Oh, I like them. They keep things from getting too quiet or thoughtful. They get in the way of mirrors, and I appreciate that. Oh, you want more specific details? Who about? You mentioned that you don't like mirrors? Why is that?
Something new.
I did. What a strange thing to say. Who doesn't like mirrors? I certainly don't. Wait. He frowns, his golden aura fades until it almost isn't there. I like mirrors. I have no problem with them. Let's talk about something else. Okay. Let's talk about something else. Opinion? Opinions. I love giving those. Elegant. He's really smart. And interesting. Funny too. I don't understand a lot of what he says though. That might be because most insults go right over your head. Might be. Elegant, something new? Yeah. Tibia. He is such a nice man. Before we met, I had too much money to spend. Now I barely have any at all. Lighter pockets make a happy lad, Tibia says, jingling a little. He told me that's one of his famous sayings. Let's talk about something else. Oh, let's talk another time. Okay. Oh, elegant. Level up. Whoop whoop. Okay. Skill or edge increase. Okay, you hunt some more while I level elegant. Yes. Sorry. Sorry. The weird thing about Elegant is that he isn't... Oh, what's... I'm having hiccups. Burpee hiccups. I hate burpee hiccups. Burpee hiccups sounds something like of... like a very lame wrestler? Burpee hiccups? Okay. The weird thing about Elegant is that he is a nano who is, like you see here, they have their strength in intellect-based actions, but he's also very mighty, which means that he's strong and can attack with, for example, a two-handed, a medium melee weapon. Okay. The weird thing about Elegant is that he is a nano who is, like you see here, they have their strength in intellect-based actions, but he's also very mighty, which means that he's strong and can attack with, for example, a two-handed medium melee weapon. Okay.
Which is why I don't know how I want to level him. He's good in concentration, sulfur use. Maybe we should just put his machinery lore up to speed. Yeah, I think so. Before we give him more edge. Yeah, come on. Machinery law. Okie dokie.
Alagern, you are lucky to have met me.
My thoughts exactly.
We're sharing thoughts? That's wonderful. Oh, listen. What am I thinking now?
I'm going to leave Alagern alone.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
I am the very soul of action.
This city used to be safe. Now the Memoriva's people are everywhere, threatening everyone.
Happy to help.
Madelia glittering. Hello, friend. A smiling, dark-haired woman greets you, standing behind a table of trinkets. Your eyes are drawn to the 3 small rodents. Okay. That lazily orbit her head in 3 floating balls. They take turns hovering just out of reach of the half-mechanical, half-organic cat perched on the woman's shoulder. She's a weird woman. The smile disappears from her face as a small tremor runs through the ground beneath your feet. That's the 7th time today. She glances nervously at the remnants of the structure next door. When that one fell, I heard them screaming, shrieking like the wind was tearing at their bones. You feel the walls of her home shudder beneath your feet, and the roof settles at an angle slightly more canted than it was before. Okay. She idly turns a couple of the curiosities on her table so the light catches on the various planes and materials. Then a smile returns to her face. Come. Tell me which of my treasures speaks to you. How much for one of the rodent globes? You mean Bay, Boo, and Bao? She raises a hand and unconsciously pets one of the globes as it swings past her right ear. The tiny creature inside squeaks and scampers in a tight circle before the globe drifts out of sight. They are not for sale, my friend. I hope you're not too disappointed. Are you sure you won't sell me one of the rodent globes? Very sure, she says easily, scratching her cat beneath the chin when it gets too close to snatching one of sad rodents from the air. Have you seen an escaped slave girl nearby? She gives you an odd look. Don't tell me why you're asking. I don't want to know. There are children running here around here at all times of day, but I couldn't tell you one from another. And as to whether they are escaped or not, well, all children are running from something. So you have seen her. She could be here. Children only interest me when they have shins to spend, and I never question where they come from, child or coin. Have you seen an albino woman around here? She raises both eyebrows, regarding you silently for a moment. A woman with skin like alabaster. Yes, she was here. Looking for help I could not give. Her own treasure was what she wished fixed. I declined. She did not take it kindly, and I haven't heard from her again. She places a gentle hand on your wrist. She's dangerous, friend, she says, her tone light as if she were merely discussing the weather. Tread carefully wherever you happen across her. She lets go. Let me see what you have for sale. What does she have for sale? You know about spray flash.
What is that? Psychic detonation. Deals 10 minutes and confirms days. Woo. Cool. These delicate glass spheres radiate a nauseating mental static from somewhere within their utterly clear depths. Leucotic bladder. Here's 13 points of health. On all allies in range of target point. Okay. Slick to the touch and smelling of bile, this malleable organ can be smashed open to release a gout of healing viscera. That sounds nice. The Sylph Cord. It's an artifact. +1 in stealth, +2 damage on esoteric attacks. -1 in ranged weapon. Lengths of gossamer thread wind around the spindle, covered in finely carved pictograms of transparent figures covered in and blinded by crisscrossing lines. Okay. Scholar's Archive. +1 in machinery and natural, +2 on esoteric. Wow! Negative, -1 in persuasion, -3 initiative. I thought that might be a good artifact for Elegant. He's also trained in concentration, which means that he doesn't have that many negative effects. This bony, segmented chain unravels at the touch of living flesh and latches eagerly onto a user's spine. Once attached, the user will sense the presence of another mind within their head that is wise, knowledgeable, and contagiously rude. Okay. Okay. Oh, we can sell her some stuff. Well, I know they only need 1 armor, 4 armor, 1 resistant, 1 armor, 3. Maybe I need both of them. Most oddities have no purpose, just so you know. I think it's very rare that they do have one. In my first playthrough, I haven't sold any oddities, I think, because I always thought, hey, maybe they will help me in the future, but they never did. So, or did they? Just let me consult the internet for a minute. Torment, Tides of Numenera, sell oddities. Because I don't remember, maybe there were some important ones. Okay, it's the similar to gems you can, for example, find in other RPGs. In a minute. Yes, we can just sell them. And some of them can be used, but we will see that right away because it will say use item. Okay, then we will sell them. But
Tame your enthusiasm, will you? We're not playing a game.
A game?
we know that already. Oh, let's first equip that. And no, can only be discarded, discarded, discarded. None of them can be used, so we can sell them. Okay, we sell Tar River Globe. Pam. We will sell the View Shard. Pam. And we will sell the Jelly. Pow. Now, what do you have? Medium melee weapon. Maybe Tibia wants it? Yeah, okay, close. What are we doing? Yes, Shroxy, good to know. You are a girl of extremes, I think. Either you are there and we have, in some streams, we have a conversation just between the two of us for 3 hours. At least it feels like that. And sometimes you are just there in the background and just enjoying the show. But it's always nice to know what kind of day it is today. What are we doing? We were selling oddities. I just looked. Oddities sometimes can be used, but we would have seen that right away because it would have said use item down here. And none of our oddities did. So we sold them and have more shins now. Shins are fine. Shins are good. Shins are great. We also have Elegant and Erritis had one of their discussions again. And that was a little funny to see. You would have to see the YouTube video to know what they said because I don't remember anymore. Can we... For physical, 3 chemical. For physical... And he has more speed than might, so he will stick to his broadsword. Ooh, he has... Let's compare these weapons. For physical... 8 physical. Okay, he keeps his greatsword. Did you hear that? He said, wish I had more hands! Okay, so I think we will sell this mace. We don't need that. And she is a pretty interesting person. She's got 3 rodents in these balls that are floating around her head, and she has a biomechanical cat sitting on her shoulder. Yes, that's Madelia glittering. And her smile is as radiant as ever. The cat on her shoulder watches you warily for a moment, then goes back to batting at the rodent globes whenever they dip too close. Welcome, friend. Which of my treasures has called you here today? So, let's also sell the mace for 7 shins, but okay. We will keep our other stuff. 3 armor, 2 resistance. 3 armor, 2 resistance. -3 to might, speed, and esoteric. Okay. So, that was Madelia glittering. This is the continual rise and fall of the pistons on this device suggests a massive mechanical effort. Structural similarities with the pipes in the area hint at them being part of the same machine.
I am the very soul of action.
Free advice given here, blunt. Okay. Memorira goon. The Memorira, maybe you don't remember anymore, is kind of like the underground. Don't mind my scouting friend there, doesn't trust strangers much. The underworld boss of the Blue. Don't remember asking you to join the conversation. Maybe you should walk away. Come on up and chat anytime. I love meeting the locals. We'll be seeing a lot of each other. Maybe you should move along before you hear something you wish you hadn't. I like the air you get around here. It's, what's the word? Optimistic. Maybe you have a hard time catching a hint? This is a good place. Lots of business opportunities. Gonna sim your death, plotter. See you around, friend. Don't have a good memory for faces. Lucky for you. Okay. Insulting through truth seer free of charge. My house collapsed a few weeks back. Weren't much, but it were mine. Selling the stolen goods here, stolen. Too many people. If it ain't sticker taking you home, it's walking mode, rogue constructs, or some other damn thing. A man can't make a life for himself on the damn ground, steals his boots every other step. And I live in Messy's boarding house for the interim. Woman's mad. The days keep getting shorter. Okay.
Yes.
Let's
Now.
get the free blunt advice. Your breath is bad, just awful. Like a tongue tied in your mouth. You're squinting. Don't do that. It'll give you wrinkles. You're very pretty. Now the bad news. Everyone is picturing you naked right now. Everyone. I'm working on positive advice, but I'll probably have to charge for it. Okay,
Fair
thank
enough.
you, Hawker. Intoxicated woman. Threads, shreds, tendons bending. If I don't starve, I don't hear the singing. The screaming choir once in the air, scaring but never healing. He waits, he's there, he's always there, pressing, looming, a sickness in skin. A black sludge in my veins, my throat, my eyes. Okay, intoxicated woman. Hawker. I know that look. Wondering why the levies aren't all over me, eh? Trade secret plotter. You're wondering why no one's reported me? Maybe they tried. Maybe they can't. Unless we got business to discuss, I'll see the back of you now. Go on. Okay. Saga Stonesperson. Ach, the days. Oh, another of the Dendra Ohur. I smell a feast nearby, don't you? So many lovely little feasts everywhere these days, hidden under the stones. Can you smell them? They're cooling. Their lives are unraveling in the air. I just need a little nibble. Something to tide me over until dinner. Just one little taste and it's time to go home.
All right.
What? Aidan Sitabo. Noxasai! You see that too, don't you? Okay. Beggar. Please, gentle heart, look at me. Just look at me. Maybe for an hour. A week if you can spare it. I feed on attention, you see. No one ever looks at me. I'm starving. Stare at me, please. Glare if you have to. I'm so hungry. Oh. I guess he was hungry. And he moans. He can't get back up.
All right.
Okay. That's sad too. Yeah, quite a lot of sad people here in Sargos Cliffs. What is that? These three triangles float serenely above a scuffed stone basin. You can't help noticing that the citizens of Sargos are giving this monument a wide berth. The largest triangle shines brightly, radiating a soothing warmth. The middle, darker one, hovers above it, turned slightly away from the first with what strikes you as disdain. The third is small, dryly amused, and so deeply indigo as to be nearly black. It's removed from the first two triangles. You hesitate. You are sensing emotions from these objects. Intent. Something is strange here. First, let's look at the stone basin. The stone is cracked in places, but far newer than the ancient shapes that float above. You suspect that the citizens of Sargus added the basin to make the triangles look less out of place? Okay. Examine the smallest one. The tiny object spins slightly faster than the others. The more you stare at it, the more you sense a growing presence in the air. The icy regard of distant eyes. You blink, swaying. In the half second before you open your eyes, you hear the thunderous crack of wood on wood and the rumble of distant voices. You snatch your hand from the triangle. Study the medium-sized triangle. Staring at this triangle is disorienting. The longer you stare at it, the more you feel a tight coiling sensation in your own head. Standing on your toes and stretching, you manage to brush the triangle's icy face with your finger. The air thickens like a weight over you, and you struggle to keep your eyes open. Between the thumping of your heartbeat, you hear thousands of purposeful, rhythmic footsteps treading endless stairs toward the peak of a vast, echoing room. Now the large triangle. You reach out and time slows. Your hand drifts past individual motes of light dappled dust, moving into the warm glow of the large triangle. Calm warmth bleeds up your arm when you grasp the edge of the triangle. It's somehow rigid and flexible at the same time. You blink and a strip of light unwinds ahead of you like a path through infinite murmuring dark. Behind you is an ever-shifting zoetrope of linked motionless hues. It is your past, you realize, every second of it, every choice pouring out of you and trailing away into the black. You open your eyes, you're back at the stone ring, still touching the triangle. All three of them are watching you. You blink again. The strip of light, the surrounding darkness, and in the valley between the slow pulsing of your heart, you hear the murmurs of countless witnesses, the raised voices of your past and future companions, the heated condemnations of enemies you haven't met yet, and above it all, a trio of voices, one warm, one cold, and one dryly practical. They are speaking a verdict, but you can't hear them over the din. And that takes me back to Planescape Torment, where right at the end you meet a trio as well that can be described a little like these three: warm, cold, and dryly practical. We shout for silence so we can hear the judges, do we? Yes, we do. You bellow into the dark, clenching your fists, and the crowd instantly falls silent. So do the judges. In the echoing silence that follows, you realize that you are alone. You always were. You stride on. The path unravels before your every step. Your past unspools behind you. Step off the path. We're a stealthy jack. Oh, one. Okay, then we stay on the path. You follow the road. Casually, you look to the right, and the path at your feet flickers, as if anticipating your new direction. Clearly, your choices define this road's course and not the other way around. You open your eyes. The three triangles hang in the air exactly as they did before, unmoving and silent. The vision is gone. And yet you can still feel the choices you've made, curving away behind you like a string of jewels. You straighten, moving into the future, breath by breath. You suddenly notice a message carved into the stone ring beneath the triangles. Judge yourself. As you watch, it slowly fades away. Okay. This is a triangle save. And come on. I can't do it. I remember how I thought I missed out by here when I first played through Torment. because I did a choice that I wasn't content with. I don't know if I did it again. So we will stick to what we chose just now, but
I'm ready.
I want to see what else it does. Hamina, 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 hamina. Mm-hmm. 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 He's trying to... This is Chiurgical. Others angrily denounced you. Doesn't matter. Voice is faded. Leaving you alone. Okay. Diesmal staying we on the path. No, we step off. Step into the dark and the path shifts obediently to follow you. Your choice is defined, not the other way around. Okay. Okay, not that much of a difference. Apropos difference. Let's make a difference in my bladder. Pee break. It's time for a pee break. See you in a minute. 90 seconds, because that's after the commercial. See you soon. Welcome back. And let's return to the game. My app is lagging quite a ways behind, so I will start it again. I can't read. I repeat, I cannot read what you're writing right now. I do not read what you're writing right now, so don't write anything, because I can't read it. Okay? I can't read what you write, so don't write anything. Now you can write again, because I can read it now. Good. Have you written anything? No, you haven't. Good. Claw of the Lowered Car. Let's talk to this cool space cowboy here. Aidan, Sitabo, stay put. The large, muscled man is practicing some form of martial arts as you look on. He is wearing an old, white, rough-woven coat with the sleeves torn off and a red bandana strapped tightly around his head. He seems to be moving much faster than his size suggests is possible. He glides between stances as swiftly as water. His fists are blurring hammers, striking at invisible enemies. His bare, calloused feet snap and slash at the air like knives. Have you seen a 10-year-old girl with dark curly hair? Yes, I've seen her. Crawling out of a fissure in one of the club's houses in this district. She is likely hiding, but I did not pry into her affairs. Where did you see her then? Why did you learn to fight like that? By challenging the deadliest creatures and studying their killing blows. I lack claws or teeth, but I do the best I can. You're very fast. Yes. The Deborah's gift! His hands slip around an invisible assailant's arm. He snaps it with a stab of his elbow, then crushes his enemy's throat and flips him over his shoulder to the ground. Jethanthum array! He shouts, spinning over the invisible adversary's corpse to deliver a triangle of jabs to the chest of his next attacker. Okay. The entire set of moves took no longer than 4 seconds. He catches you staring and smiles. You must be wondering why I'm shouting. To be frank, yes? I'm not surprised. I must look like a lunatic, he says, before sparing his opponent's jugular with 3 fingers. Cancel trust! It helps me focus my breathing, my strength and will. It reminds me of how weak I once was and how strong I've become. Years ago, I was a starving beggar. I managed to steal a wedge of pie crust and was terrified that someone else would take it from me. So I hid inside that metal structure over there to enjoy my feast. Bite of the hidden creep! He says, clawing his enemy's eyes. Pow! The stale crust crumbled into pieces between my eager fingers, and something strange happened. They drifted toward the ground like the softest of snowflakes. I was able to pluck each of them from the air before they fell. At first, I was delighted. Then I wept. He didn't rap. He rapped. How far had I fallen? That clean food. Then I wept. How far had I fallen? That clean food was a miracle. He sighs, then delivers 4 more blows to the ass body. Pow! Pow! But the miracle never ended. The longer I lived in that shelter, the more I could slow the world by concentrating. I swore to never waste this gift. I would honor it by becoming stronger, faster. I would challenge the predators of the world and take their killing blows from them. I would never be prey again. Crush stomp! How are you? How far? I bet I'm faster than you. I mean, this is what Stealthy Jack does. So, come on. You're not the first to think so, he says casually, snapping an assailant's neck. I should warn you that all the others are dead. That's not a threat. I want to fight to the death. Oh, he flings the invisible corpse aside. Before I accept your challenge, I'll need to see if you're good enough to face me. His fist lashes toward you. Jewel's kiss! Flinch. Block the punch and strike back. Oh, that's just us. Oh, success. You bat his fist aside, aim yours at his nose. He lowers his head, dashing your knuckles off his forehead. I underestimated you. That won't happen again. Tell me when you're ready for the next round. Why do you insist on fighting to the death? I fight to learn my opponent's most powerful techniques. How can I be certain they use them unless death is on the line? Wabadoo. Aidan, wabadoo. I'll come back later. Okay, Aidan, I'll come back later. What do you say? Just one little taste and it's time to go home. We talked to him already. What's that? We've seen that before. This silent and ancient machine casts a long shadow. As you study it, your breath stutters in your chest and your hands shake. You can't help feeling as though you have stood in this exact spot before. Examine the device. A jumble of mismatched parts make up this once functional generator. You notice a familiar circular symbol etched into the metal like a maker's mark. These are the things, and we know that after we talked to the genocide, that this and similar devices all around Sargos Cliffs are responsible or have the power to, and did in the past, take Sargos Cliffs and unmoor it out of time and place. And I think this is how they defeated the Tabat. The people that genocide is from. Hey, listen! Okay, Finzin. Everything above the slender young man says thug. From his scar-slashed eyebrows to the calloused hand hovering over his hip where a dagger would hang. But he doesn't have one. Instead, flour cakes his hands and a single apron string hangs from his pocket. He is, apparently, a baker. Stand still, you shine, he says and peers over his shoulder. You follow his gaze to an armored soldier who's loitering in the public square. That Levy's been following me for days. Can't even stop for a piss without checking side to side. What's a Levy? What's a... New in town? There's one right over there. Don't look. He shoots another nervous look over your shoulder. They're the law, right? You must have seen them, always smiling even if they're snapping the chains on. But not this one, no. He follows me around from dawn to dark, staring at me, trying to trap me in alleys. I ain't done nothing wrong. Anything wrong, sorry, my pigeon came out. And it's worse than that. That's my Levy. What do you mean Why is it worse that your Levy is following you? Having a Levy on your track is bad enough, right? But if he was made from a year of your life, he knows where you bet down, maybe. What you're thinking. He groans, rubbing his eyes. That's worse. That's much worse. Look, he won't leave me alone, right? I gave a year of my life to make him, and I thought that was that. Now I catch him standing in the street outside the bakery, whispering to himself, playing with that carving of his. His teeth graze his lip as he leans closer. He even tried to talk to me. Levies ain't supposed to know who they came from, right? They ain't supposed to know who you are. He wavers, gathering his courage. Could you talk to him? Find out what he wants? Can't you talk to him yourself? I've heard stories. Levies go wrong sometimes, get obsessed with the person who gave them life. If the two ever meet, that Levy goes mad, tears them apart. That ain't going to happen to me, not after all I've been through. All right, I'll talk to you, Levy. He nods again toward the armored man who's standing a distance away in the public square. He's the only Levy in this district, so you can't miss him. Plus, he ain't smiling like all the others. And he's holding some charred wooden thing in his hands.
I'll remember that.
You, need anything else? What is normal behavior for a Levy anyway? He hesitates, raising his hands as if he's trying to contain his response before he lets it escape his mouth. They work for the people who made the laws, right? And if someone breaks those laws, they track them down. Always smiling, mind you. Figures that my Levy would be the unhappy kind. How did they create your Levy? I look like the scholar, Chalou? To you, all I know is where they told me to stand. His eyes rove past your face and snap back. Look, people who want to be, respectable in this town, they become citizens. The way you do that is you step into this glass chamber. Takes a year out of your life, they say. I figure it squeezes that year into human shape. Don't know how. I wouldn't pay 2 shins to know. I don't understand why you think your Levy wants to murder you. Look, he begins, obviously struggling to frame his explanation. Look, you don't track a man for days and days unless you want something, yeah? Maybe look like his shoes, or you're curious about how many shins he's got. Now I don't have any shins, and my shoes are older than me. Only thing I got that's worth anything is my life. Anyway, I told you about the stories I've heard, how sometimes Levies go wrong. You take a look at that Levy. Everything about him is wrong. Okay, I'll be here. Let's just see. Nice little Led Zeppelin reference here. We could have chosen other. We could have made other choices when talking to him at the beginning. I wanted to see if we missed out. I'm falling back into my old pattern of loading and reloading. I try to stop. Okay.
Making a note.
Okay. Sorry. I'll try to stop that now. I'll try.
All right.
Okie dokie. Ooh, loot. Good loot. 27 shins. Who lets that lying around here just like that? This dilapidated structure has been converted into a cheap boarding house. Inside, people sprawl on filthy mattresses in a dimly lit room. No, they don't. What's very dimly lit? So...
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk to that Levy. When he wants to. This Levy is not like the others you've seen. The wide smile is absent and his oddly shaped eyes are red, wet, and haunted. He stares past you, whispering to himself and turning a small charred object over and over in his hands. He appears to be looking for someone, and having spoken to Finzin, you can imagine who. The aura of shame around him is so powerful that you can practically taste it. What you hold there? I'm holding my shame. His hands unfold one bloody, soot-covered finger at a time. A crudely made wooden bird lies there, painted in pinks and pale blues and charred around the edges. That bird represents your shame? Represents? No, this is my shame, and I'm holding it. I can't put it down. It is shame and it is mine. Finzin sent me to find out why you're following him. Yes? Their despair melting away. In that moment, he looks like a child, with a child's desperate hope. He knows too, doesn't he? He sees what he did, what we did. Tears leak from his eyes, trailing down into his mouth as he continues. When the machine ripped a year from him to make me, I felt the choices unraveling before me. I see them coming. None of it can be changed.
I'll remember that.
Tell him this, for me. The Gillum Manor job did happen. A servant called the Levies. They chased him and he set a fire. The fire spread through the neighborhood. People were trapped, people screamed. His hand clenches over the charred toy bird in his palms with a soft crunch. Please tell him I'm with him in the dark, hiding from the mobs, sobbing. Tell him to give me a different year, a better one. What kind of year do you want from Finzin? A year without the blackened door? Without the hand tangled in the grate? The weeping in the dark places? Silent tears stream down his face. He doesn't seem to be aware of them. Wails rising with the glowing ashes? My arms bound with ragged rope? Every time I'm there in those last minutes, I try to apologize, but my mouth... His fingertips brush at his lips. My mouth is full of dirt and blood. But the one he gave me, the only one he had left, though he didn't know it. What is he saying there? Did he get the last year that Finzin would have had if he made this choice? But in the end, he chose otherwise. So Finzin has more years. Maybe he chose otherwise because the Levy got the year. And Finzin now has more years and his life is different. Phew. I'm playing the second D&D game now and it's better than the first. Amazing. That's not a D&D. There is, I have a mouth and I have no mouth and I must scream. That's a point and click adventure. And it's a very weird game, yes, if you... So, I guess it's... Weird D&D game. Oh, okay. So yes. I have no mouth and I must scream. Yes. Point and click adventure. Also very weird and cool. I played it because the gameplay itself isn't that robust, I think, but the story is really cool. And I played it sometimes with a walkthrough when I didn't get very far. Also, it's one of the few point and click adventures where your choices make a difference. The second D&D game. Well, you mean the old gold box titles? I think it's gold box, it's called. They are on my list and I'm glad you like it. And I'm also not so glad that it's so bright in here. So take off all my clothes. So. Curse of the Azure Bonds. Never heard of it. But I will go around playing that in the future, I think. Maybe I will even stream it. Oh, I think I will stream it. Because they are so... It's only recently I have got to know them, these old titles, and always thought that they were bad. I don't know why, because I don't know why. Because they weren't as famous as Baldur's Gate, I think. And now that I know that they are actually quite good, I want to play them. Also, Baldur's Gate, Gold Box. Lost my thread. A new release on GOG. Siege of Avalon is released now on GOG and Steam, I think, as well. And I played Siege of Avalon. Maybe you've heard of it. It's also an old computer RPG in the vein of Baldur's Gate, but with more text. And I also like text, as you know, and as you see here right now. And I also thought that that was a bad game because I played it in a shareware version with an old computer-built Spiele disc. I think. And I thought shareware is always bad. But it's also supposed to be good, and also one of the games I am looking forward to play.
Done.
Many people can't stand the graphic. Yes, that's what the younger generation might think, but not this one that did grow up with LucasArts adventures and pixel graphics and Windows 95. So yes, I know the old times as well as the new times. Did you find out anything? Only what one? Did you find out anything? He asks, eyes darting around you to check on the distant Levy. I've spoken to the Levy. He mentioned something about a Gilliam Manor job. He... what? Finzin says, going pale. Keep your voice down. You tell anyone else about this? No? Good. I have to be unspecific about this, understand? Before I became a citizen, I wasn't a nice person. I took things for money. And just a few weeks ago, certain people told me they wanted me to rob Gilliam Manor. I was going to do it, but then I became a citizen. Gave up a year of my life to create the Levy. That Levy. Something changed. All of a sudden, I couldn't get the dangers out of my head. How thick the Levy patrols were. Or how the captain himself was looking into one of my old adventures. He plays with the apron strings hanging from his pockets, so I cancelled the job and started working at my aunt's bakery. Never did the Gilliam job, and that's the truth. The Levy is seeing what would have happened if you did the job. He wants another year from you.
Making a note.
Oh, I get it. It's a shakedown. Give me a year or tell him what you did. Well, I ain't done anything. I never killed anyone and I don't owe him nothing. I can't keep handing out years like they're free. Based on what he said, it sounds like becoming a citizen saved your life. That's not fair. He's suffering for what you would have done. You make a valid point. My dear two viewers out there, and anyone else who wants to surprise me, what do we say to him? The Feuerglatz itself would say would take the first option, but I don't know if Stealthy Jack would do that, and I also don't know, maybe I want to make a different choice for a change, because like I said, I played it already. You are also for the first option. Then we will pick it. And that was my decision, not his.
I'll remember that.
I'd go up to Government Square and tell the captain of levies what he's up to. If I had any way of explaining it. Hey, your levy is following me around. I think it's because he's haunted by my criminal past. What good would telling the captain of levies do? Levies ain't supposed to follow their citizens around. They ain't supposed to get all weepy either. Telling the captain would take care of the problem for sure. But I ain't about to try it myself. You want to try talking to her? She's in Government Square. Oh, sorry, I don't... We will go to Government Square, but we will stick to us wanting to tell him that he maybe should help his levy. Good luck, just don't, tell her
Sure.
too much. Government Square. Ah. Maybe she can help. We haven't. No. Out of here. We haven't We haven't talked to any one of these people. Except for Tranquility. So we will not start now. Otherwise we'll get confused. Or I'll get confused. So, Government Square. And the Captain of Levies, that's her. Second. Drones still circle the uniformed woman's head. She's whispering to one of them as you approach, but she waves it away and nods curtly to you. City business or something else? Well, first, the clerk asked me for a bribe. Is that legal? It isn't illegal. Such things are customary amongst the bureaucratic class. They call it a gratuity. Okay. More questions about the levies? Again. I have other questions. Then, I met a levy in Cliff's Edge that's stalking a man called Finzin. It wants an extra year of his life. It wants what? Her eyes widen in alarm. She whispers something to one of her circling drones and it zooms away. Sometimes the levies go wrong. They take a bad year from a citizen and turn out flawed. We never let them live when they get like that. You've seen the little talismans they carry? The symbols of the year they made them? If their year is bad enough, they become the talismans shaped in flesh. Monsters that hide in the city and try to bring about the horrors that would have been. You can tell this Finzin that he's safe. I've sent a squad to bring in the levy. You'll never see it again. I'll ask you now. Do we want to continue on this road? We have destroyed the flawed levy? Or do we want the other option with Finzin? No! Okay. I thought maybe we could have told, or she would have told us, she would have, bleh. I thought she might have given us another choice. Apart from killing him. But she did. So, no. Nah. I will load another save game. When the levy breaks. Yeah. Not that much has happened in the meantime. Was das Leben? Okay. Talk to the levy. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah.
I'll remember that.
Look out below! Above! Sideways!
Making a note. Making a note.
Okay. Option 2. Give the levy another year of her life. He started fresh. He should get the same chance. Okay, 50-50 chance. Come on, Tibia! No success. He's just a copy of me, and barely even that. I don't owe him a thing. If anything, he owes me. Ah. Oh! Oh, for what? A couple bad dreams? I didn't do anything. He subsides, crossing his arms as if he's cold. Alright. What did he see in this other future? I get caught? Chased around maybe? You started a fire that killed a lot of people. How much is a lot? He says, rubbing his mouth with the back of his hand. He sees some of the truth in your eyes and sighs.
Updated my journal.
Fine! But I ain't running myself down searching for a way to give my life away. The Levy machine's at the Order of Truth. Go talk to the scholar since you're so hungry for this. Maybe they can bash something together that'll rip another year from me and give it to him. He grins, but his heart is definitely not in it. Good luck. How do you like being a baker? Yeah. Didn't think I'd like it, you know? My aunt had me waking up early, carrying trays, counting out lumps of dough. Didn't think I'd last a week. A smile spreads across his face so slowly that he probably doesn't feel it. But I like the smell and the way the pastries brown up. And she started letting me draw stuff on the sides, like flowers and cats and stuff. He sees you looking and blushes. Don't tell anyone, yeah? Bye. Could without E. Oh, and I have overzogen. We'll stop anyway. Goodbye. See you next Sunday. Mwah, au revoir. So, good. Then we have the quest. Yes. Go to the Order of Truth. Okay. Save. Unbreak the levy. Okily dokily. Bye. The stream is aus. Shiroxy and other persons. And maybe Cool Without E, you're still there, but I don't think you are. Goodbye. Have a nice Sunday. I'm going to get some Brechfest. Leckeres Spätstück. And as always, tune in next time on Wednesdays from 7 to 10 o'clock p.m. and Thursdays 7 to 10 o'clock p.m. for seeing me play Gothic 2 The Night of the Raven. Auf Deutsch aber. Das heißt, jeder, der das jetzt hier nicht versteht, wird dann auch keinen Spaß haben. Also, bis dann, Shiroxy. Bye. And der Stream ist aus.